Dear students, morning and welcome to the class number 2, the second lesson of English. And today's lesson is about how to practice listening and discussing, so speaking skills through watching a video and discussing and how learning how to answer to some questions. So let's start the class. Our class is about how or is it possible for us to live on the planet of Mars? Est-ce que c'est possible qu'on peut vivre sur la planète de Mars؟ هل ممكن أن نعيش فوق كوكب مارس أو كوكب مارس يعني المريخ. So let's share the screen with you. Let's get starting. Okay, so class number 2, living on the planet Mars. The objective, as I said, is to learn how to listen and discuss and also learn how to practice يعني ممارسة and how to improve students listening and writing skills. كيفاش نقدروا نطوروا من مهارات الاستماع وكتابة للطلبة. How to improve students listening and writing skills. So let's start. The planet Mars أو كوكب المريخ. The red planet الكوكب الأحمر. Mars is the 4th planet from the Sun and is the 2nd smallest planet in our solar system. يعني في المجموعة الشمسية هو ثاني أصغر كوكب. Mars is sometimes called the red planet. أحيانا كوكب مارس نسموه الكوكب الأحمر أو المريخ باللغة العربية because of its color. بالنسبة للونه. The atmosphere on Mars does not have enough oxygen for us to breathe. So, الجو في مارس لا يحتوي على كمية كافية للأكسجين للإنسان لكي يتنفس. Did you know Mars was named after the Roman god of war? من أين تأتي تسمية كوكب مارس in English or Mars in French؟ هي بالنسبة لي إله الحرب بالنسبة للرومان. The month of March is also named after him. شهر مارس or March شهر أيضا تعود تسميته إلى إله الحرب بالنسبة للرومان. A Mars day is called a sol. يعني يوم واحد في مارس نسموه a sol. Missions to Mars يعني الرحلات إلى مارس كوكب مارس. It is important to launch a mission to Mars at the right time because Earth and Mars are always moving. من المهم جدا أن تنطلق الرحلة إلى مارس في الوقت المناسب لأن كوكب مارس وكوكب الأرض في حركة دائمة. Sometimes Mars is closer to Earth than at other times. أحيانا كوكب مارس يكون قريب أو الأقرب إلى كوكب الأرض وأحيانا لا. So, اختيار المدة الزمنية لانطلاق الرحلات إلى مارس هي جدا مهمة لأننا ننقص استغلال أو استعمال الوقود بالنسبة للمكوك الفضائي. Choosing the shortest distance is a good idea because the journey will need less fuel. كما قلت, as I said, choosing the shortest distance, la distance يعني اختيار أقصر مسافة هي فكرة رائعة لرحلات بالنسبة لكوكب مارس لأننا نستعمل أقل نسبة من الوقود. A true color photograph of Mars taken by the OSIRIS instrument on the European Space Agency, ESA, Rosetta spacecraft in February 2007 أو 2007. هذه صورة حقيقية للون الحقيقي لكوكب مارس التقطت من جهاز أوروبي فضائي ايجنسي سبيس ايجنسي سموها روزيتا سبيس كرافت في فبراير 2007. So these are informations about the planet of Mars. We continue. Why Mars? لماذا ندرس كوكب المريخ؟ Mars is the safest planet to travel to. Mars هو الكوكب الآمن بالنسبة للسفر، يعني هو أأمن كوكب يمكن أن نسافر إليه. لماذا؟ Its soil contains a little water، يعني التربة تحتوي على كمية قليلة من الماء. It gets enough sunlight to use solar power، يعني تصلح كمية قليلة من أشعة الشمس بحيث يمكن أن نستعمل أشعة الشمس لتوليد الطاقة. 3. There is some gravity to help us to walk. هنالك كمية قليلة أو نسبة قليلة من الجاذبية بحيث تساعدنا أن نمشي فوق مساحة كوكب مارس. 4. A day on Mars is almost the same length as on Earth، يعني يوم فوق كوكب مارس هو تقريبا نفس المدة الزمنية بالمقارنة مع يوم فوق كوكب الأرض. And at the right, you can find some numbers, some parameters or characteristics of Mars quick facts. And we continue. Humans want to find out if there might be life on other planets, and scientists believe that Mars is the best planet for life, apart from Earth. العلماء والجنس البشري، العلماء بصفة عامة يعتقدون أن الحياة ممكنة فوق كوكب مارس، والأبحاث العلمية is ongoing to find how to reach out life on the planet of Mars. So before watching the video, ask yourself قبل ما تشوف الفيديو اسأل نفسك Are we able to live on Mars planet؟ هل نحن نستطيع أن نعيش فوق كوكب مارس أو كوكب المريخ؟ Yes or no? So let's watch the video and try to answer to this question after.
Scientists around the world are interested in exploring Mars. Over the past 30 years, there have been dozens of unmanned missions to the red planet. However, traveling to Mars is not easy. About 2/3 of these missions were failures. Because missions to Mars are dangerous and expensive, plans for a manned mission to Mars have been delayed for decades. The international space community is still not ready to send humans there. However, a manned mission to Mars is a goal that Dr. Bob Zubrin really believes in.
NASA had plans to send people to Mars by 1981. Those plans were credible. We should have been on Mars a quarter century ago.
Bob Zubrin is president of the Mars Society, an international organization he helped start in 1998. The Mars Society supports the goal of having humans explore and live on Mars. Its members talk to government agencies and private companies to get money to explore Mars. Zubrin is also doing research to prepare for a manned mission to Mars. The Mars Society set up living spaces designed for Mars in the deserts of Utah in the western United States and on Devon Island in northern Canada. These remote areas are similar in some ways to the surface of Mars.
We're trying to find out what field tactics and techniques would be most usefully applied on Mars, what technologies would be most useful to the crew.
Zubrin has ambitious ideas. He plans to colonize the planet.
We're going to Mars because Mars is the planet that has on it the resources needed to support life, and therefore potentially someday human civilization.
For Zubrin, Mars is the new frontier.
Whether or not there has been life on Mars, whether or not there is life on Mars, there will be life on Mars, and it will be us.
Zubrin isn't the only one with plans for the red planet. Dr. Chris McKay has another idea. He wants to create an atmosphere on Mars so humans can live there.
If we go to Mars and find that there is no life, then I say we might as well move in.
McKay believes that for humans to eventually live on Mars, they need to start by warming up its atmosphere.
Well, we know how to warm up planets. We're doing it on Earth.
The first step to warming up the planet is putting greenhouse gases into the Martian atmosphere.
The effect of these gases would be to melt the ice, bring back the atmosphere, and restore Mars to the conditions it was billions of years ago.
But if humans are going to live on Mars, they're going to need oxygen. Chris McKay has an idea about how to create oxygen on Mars using tiny organisms called cyanobacteria.
These organisms are known as cyanobacteria. It's a type of algae, a single cell type of algae that has a very long history on Earth. These were the organisms that first made the oxygen. And these organisms could do the same thing on Mars. Send them to Mars and ask them to change the world.
Cyanobacteria, the planet changers. Scientists continue to study Mars so that one day humans will travel to the red planet. And perhaps someday in the future, humans will live there.
So we watched the video and we saw two scientists, Zubrin, Dr. Zubrin and Dr. McKay. So Dr. Zubrin believes that there will be a life on Mars planet, and he wants to colonize Mars. يريد أن يكون مستعمرات في كوكب المريخ. Dr. Zubrin. And Dr. McKay, Chris McKay, he wants to warm the planet of Mars. يريد أن يرفع درجة حرارة كوكب مارس لأنها أقل أو ناقص 60 درجة, minus 60 degrees. So how he is planning to warm the planet? He wants to, or he thinks about the possibility of injecting the gases. So يريد أن يطلق غازات الاحتباس الحراري في كوكب مارس من أجل رفع درجة حرارة كوكب مارس. So this is a pollution somehow, إنه نوع من أنواع التلوث في كوكب المريخ. But to live on Mars, we need to breathe oxygen. So the idea of McKay is to create or produce oxygen using cyanobacteria. فكرة دكتور ماكي هي أنه إنتاج الأكسجين باستعمال السيانوبكتيري، يعني البكتيريا الخضراء اللي هي أساس إنتاج الأكسجين في كوكب الأرض. فيريد أن يطلق بكتيريا سيانوبكتيريا في كوكب المريخ لكي تنتج لنا الأكسجين، ويستطيع الإنسان أن يسافر إلى كوكب المريخ هو يبني مستعمرات هنالك. So USA and NASA is planning to colonize Mars, planet of Mars. So this is the resume of the video that we watched. So there are some questions about the video, and your role or your turn is now. So go ahead and ask about or answer about this. Answer on these questions by true or false. So the first question is, over 30 years, scientists are interested to explore Mars. منذ 30 سنة العلماء مهتمون باكتشاف كوكب مارس. True or false? Question number 2, about 2 or 3 of missions were successful. ثلثي الرحلات لكوكب مارس كانت ناجحة. نعم أو لا. True or false? Question number 3, Dr. Bob Robert Zubrin is the founder and the president of the Mars Society. Dr. Bob Robert Zubrin هو مؤسس ورئيس شركة مارس، اكتشاف كوكب مارس. True or false? So you can go to the video and rewatch the video to be able to answer on those questions. Question number 4. NASA sent people to Mars on 1991. هل ناسا أرسلت بعثات لكوكب مارس كوكب المريخ منذ 1991 yes or no. Question number 5. Dr. Zubrin and his team design remote areas similar to the surface of Mars in western of USA. Dr. Zubrin and his team, so فريق تاعه صمموا مناطق مشابهة للمساحة فوق كوكب مارس في غرب الولايات المتحدة الأمريكية. True or false? Question number 6. Cyanobacteria are the main organisms producing oxygen on Earth, and the Americans want to send them to Mars to produce oxygen there. True or false? Task number 2, so exercise number 2. Put the words and phrases in order to make sentences. أعد كتابة أو أعد ترتيب الكلمات من أجل تكوين جملة مفيدة. So, Sun, Mars is from the fourth planet, for example, Mars is the fourth planet from the Sun. This is the right or the correct order of this phrase. And you can do the same thing for the other phrases. Working on or based on the first text that we have read at the beginning of the class, you can go to the text, read it again, and try to put these words in the best or in the correct order. So discussion. How can we settle on Mars? كيف يمكننا نعيش فوق كوكب مارس؟ سؤال. You can answer. Do you have ideas? هل عندك أفكار؟ How can humans adjust Mars's environment to be adequate for creating life there? Sorry. كيف يمكن الإنسان أن ينظم or adjust يعني يسجم البيئة تاع كوكب مارس، بيئة كوكب المريخ، من أجل أن نكون قادرين على العيش فيها، يعني ملائمة لكي تصبح بيئة ملائمة للإنسان. سؤال. To your information, لمعلوماتكم. On the planet of Mars, there is a lack of oxygen to breathe. There is only 0.13% of oxygen on Mars and 96% of CO2 dioxide, carbon dioxide. So we can't breathe because the human needs 30%. يعني الإنسان يحتاج إلى 30% من الأكسجين to breathe لكي يتنفس. While on planet Mars there's only 0.13%. So to solve this problem, we can extract it from the CO2 with the machines. The NASA uses a machine named MOXIE. This machine extracts the oxygen from the dioxide or from the carbon dioxide to produce oxygen for breathing. This is solution. The second problem or the second challenge is the low atmosphere pressure and the high radiation. So on the planet of Mars, there is low atmosphere pressure, يعني ضغط ضعيف, and high radiation وإشعاعات عالية. To solve this problem, we can wear the space suit and live inside buildings. يمكننا أن نلبس البزة بزة الفضاء وأن نعيش في vessels buildings يعني بنايات special buildings to be able to live on the planet of Mars. The third problem or the third challenge is the gravity on Mars is only 38% lower than that on Earth. الجاذبية فوق كوكب مارس المريخ هي 38% أقل من الجاذبية فوق سطح كرة أرضية. So we have to learn how to walk on Mars to not harm ourselves. We have to learn how to walk on planet of Mars. So how, if we can find solution for all these challenges or problems, we do have other problem, is the lack of food and water. How to solve this problem on planet Mars? So here you can find the answers of the exercises that are given below. Task 1, task 2, and here we can end our class, the class of today, the lesson of today, which was about the possibility of living on the planet of Mars. So thank you so much, and I will see you in the next lesson. Have a nice day.